Peter Bergman of The Young and the Restless brought up interesting points about Jack and Diane's fake fight, which could expose actual problems in their marriage. Jack and Diane are fine after all. The couple was found to be faking their marital problems on The Young and the Restless. They were desperate to stick it to Victor and created problems that didn't exist in their marriage. However, Diane didn't realize the impact this would have on their son, Kyle. The couple had to do a lot of faking, or did they? There's a surprise twist that could doom their marriage. Jack and Diane proved themselves to be Y and R super couple. They defied the odds. This couple is Teflon tough against Titan Victor. However, cruel and nasty words were said when they pretended to fight. Even if it was all pretend, it could still impact their marriage. In his interview with Soap Opera Digest, Peter Bergman brought up an interesting point. The little surprise twist to this situation is that they proved they weren't getting along. There might be some truth to that. Suddenly, Jack wasn't on Diane's team, but Jack might have to face the consequences of his harsh words. Bergman notes that Jack had said some hurtful things about Diane that he can't take back. He also made some points about his on-screen persona. I have two things to say about it. One is again, Jack is going to extremes, Bergman explained. The whole Nikki thing was a bit extreme, and hiding from their family that they are not, in fact, fighting and all of this stuff. They went a long way to save their son. At the same time, they were playing this game of pretend, but it was all ad-libbed. Bergman feels that Jack said some things that can't be unsaid. Diane might find herself questioning the state of their marriage. Even Bergman was shocked when he looked at the script. He exclaimed, "Wow," adding, "I mean, he just went a big step too far in letting the world know that he has big questions about Diane. And I think there's a price to pay for that." What are your thoughts? Hey everyone, welcome back to Radiant Serum. I'm Aubrey, and I hope your day is shining bright. Thank you for joining me. Let's jump right into today's video. A baby could throw a wrench in Summer's plans for a reconciliation. Kyle and Claire's sweet relationship continues flourishing on The Young and the Restless, and it's already won over fans. One person who isn't a fan is Kyle's ex-wife, Summer. She would put an end to it if she could. Summer has been competing with Claire, even if she doesn't want to admit it. But what she doesn't realize is that Claire could provide Kyle with a child of his own. Summer already had problems with Claire when she first met her. She can't shake the fact that her new cousin tried to kill her family. Claire was Jordan's accomplice for much of her life. However, Claire is a new woman now. She claimed that she was healed during treatment. The real kicker was when Kyle hired Claire as Harrison's nanny. Summer didn't like how close the two had gotten. Up to this point, Claire was the only person who could make Harrison smile. That's a pretty big deal. Summer still didn't trust Claire, even after the kidnapping attempt. She tried her best to keep Claire away from her son. It didn't work to her advantage. Now that Claire and Kyle are becoming intimate, Summer could lose out on the family she desperately wants. Claire and Kyle recently consummated their relationship. She revealed to him that she had never slept with a man before. She wasn't even allowed to date, as her crazy aunt kept a close eye on her. The craziest thing that Claire has done in her life is get tattoos. This brings up an interesting question about Summer's possible fertility problems. She's been in an on and off romance with Kyle for much of their lives. Yet Summer never ended up pregnant with Kyle's baby. Summer might have infertility issues she's not aware of. Claire could provide Kyle with something that Summer never could. She could be the one who ends up pregnant with his child. This could unite their happy family unit, kicking Summer out of the equation. She could end up losing this fight. So much for a chance for reconciliation for Summer and Kyle. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Friday, December 6th make it obvious that Victor will never accept that Diane and Jack outsmarted him, even in the short term. Time to remind all of Geno City that Victor Newman always wins. Always. So, as far as we understand it, this is what happened. Diane tricked Victor into giving her glissade by making Victor think she and Jack were broken up and that she wanted to screw over both Jack and Kyle. But Victor tricked Diane by giving her glissade only after he'd sold off all the company's holdings, so all she ended up with was an empty shell. But then Jack tricked Victor by being the one to buy up those holdings at a bargain basement price and returning them to Diane and glissade. Now, Victor wants to trick Diane and Jack by doing something even more clever, so the cycle can just keep going and going and going. Victor also knows why Jack risked his life and sobriety to keep Nikki from drinking. It was to stick it to Victor. Jack doesn't care about Nikki's health. He only cares about making Nikki's more virile, sexy, and smarter husband look bad. Lucy Romalotti has been navigating highs and lows lately, and there's no end to it for now. The Young and the Restless spoilers recall Lucy being over the moon when her parents reunited. But Lucy's happiness fizzled out following her mom's passing. It broke her into pieces, and she must have wondered if moral obligations serve anyone better. She may turn. Is that her villain arc? Could Genoa City's sweet girl next door turn into the next baddie? The Young and the Restless spoilers confirm that Genoa City is already blessed with the scheming queen of shenanigans, Jordan. After the prison break, she's working overtime to unleash mayhem in the town. At this point, the Newmans should consider deporting her to an abandoned island. However, Jordan can even charm a fisherman into helping her flee. As if that wasn't enough, the troublemaker has allied with another shrewd mastermind, Ian Ward. Moreover, they are like the Bonnie and Clyde of scheming. Together, they have rocked Sharon Newman's world, leaving her guilt-ridden for the crime she may have not even committed. Sharon thinks she's behind Heather's murder and the car wreck that sent Phyllis to the hospital. Moreover, the Romalottas are convinced Sharon is public enemy number one and blame her for all the misery. Meanwhile, Lucy is fed up with Faith, and their bond crumbles under the weight of Sharon's issues. Is Lucy the twist Genoa City deserves? But hey, Lucy's grudge isn't just a phase of teenage angst. The anger is boiling, and she's giving us serious future villain vibes. While Jordan tops the list of looties, she may need someone as her successor. Who would be better to carry the torch than Lucy, right? Furthermore, let's not forget her family ties to Phyllis and Shayla Carter. With the crazy genes running through her veins, she could be the best fit. Even if Lucy discovers Sharon is innocent, the bitterness won't fade away overnight. She might embrace her family's notorious legacy and start a new cult of rogue allies. So the offer to leave with Daniel to turn a new leaf might not entice her anymore. Daisy's daughter could find someone new who matches her freak. Will Sharon's lab results rock Genoa City? The Young and the Restless spoilers for December 9 to 13 may give Sharon some glimmer of hope. Chance and Nick's partnership will crack the code on Sharon's abnormality. Next, Nikki will call out Jack for messing up with her husband. Meanwhile, Victor will make Diane's happiness vanish into thin air. Finally, Audra joins Nate on his latest hunt. Read further to get the lowdown. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal Sharon Newman is about to face some game-changing news. Her ex-lover, Chance Chancellor, is entering her life as a knight in shining armor. Yep, sporting a lab coat, he's ready to examine Sharon's old pill bottle. Here's hoping Jordan and Ian Ward don't pull another evil move on her. Additionally, Nick Newman's hunch about Sharon's bizarre behavior will finally have an explanation. But will Chance's big decision to back her up come at the cost? The poor guy is already skating on thin ice in her relationship with Summer Newman, so helping Sharon might just be the final nail in the coffin. Nevertheless, Connor has a thing for justice, even if it means putting relationships on the line. Elsewhere, Phyllis Summers is not buying Sharon's sob story and will go ballistic on her. For her, this all smells like a ploy for Sharon to dodge accountability. Furthermore, The Newman-Abbott battle is getting intense. Nikki Newman isn't happy with Jack's antics and holds a grilling sesh for him. In the meantime, Diane Jenkins Abbott can't help but celebrate her victory. Little does she know, Victor isn't the one to lose easily. The industry titan may already be ready to rain on her parade with his next set of tricks. Across Genoa City, Kyle Abbott and Claire Newman's growing connection is getting on Summer's nerves. How long until she's done putting on a smiley face? In addition, Y and R spoilers suggest that Nate Hastings is expanding his team to track his half-brother Damien. Audra Charles could become the key to finding him. Young and Restless threw us some curveballs during November sweeps, who had the return of Crazy Aunt Jordan and Ian Ward on their 2024 bingo card. But into the first week of December, the surprises keep coming. We certainly didn't see this reunion on the horizon, but Nick Newman's latest move all but guarantees it will come to pass. Adam and Chelsea hooking up in Baltimore led the two of them, and Young and Restless fans, down an almost boringly predictable path to reconciliation. Despite the pair swearing a pact of secrecy, absolutely no one was surprised when their cheating came to light, and their relationships with Billy and Sally went up in flames. This is a soap opera, after all. That said, the road to a reunion hasn't been a short one. Although Adam admitted to still having feelings for Chelsea right out of the gate, she has been far more reluctant to rekindle a relationship with her ex, despite even Sally declaring that they are meant to be. It's this hesitation on Chelsea's part that may open the door for Adam to be drawn in another direction. In fact, it's already happening. After hearing that his ex-wife Sharon had confessed to the murder of, ironically, another of his exes, Heather Stevens, Adam made tracks to the coffee shop to lend his support to the former spouse he believes harbors a dark side not unlike his own. As he told Nick and Victor, he thinks it's part of the reason for their enduring bond. Taking great exception to Adam making moves in Sharon's direction is, of course, the White Knight himself, her other ex-husband and Adam's brother, Nick. Refusing to believe that Sharon is criminally responsible for Heather's death, he's become ferociously protective since she made the confession that boggled his mind. When Adam stuck his head into a meeting between Nick and Sharon's lawyer, Michael Baldwin, taking place at Newman Enterprises, his brother bristled, to put it mildly. Michael made a hasty retreat, after which Nick and Adam fired up a version of their old rivalry over the blonde beauty in distress. Adam sneered at Nick, thinking he was the only man who could help Sharon, and Nick told Adam he was not a support to her, but a curse. As the scene drew to a close, Nick did the one thing guaranteed to send Adam directly back to Sharon's side. He forbade him to see her. Yep, if we know anything about Adam, it's that a direct order to stay away from Sharon, especially delivered by Nick, is going to ensure that he does the exact opposite. Therefore, a SERUM reunion may very well be in the cards. That's not to say such a reunion would be of the romantic variety. Sharon's not exactly in the right place and time in her life to be wined and dined, nor is that what Adam would probably have in mind under the circumstances. But if Nick's decree sends a rebellious Adam in her direction, we could be in for a SERUM interlude of some description, which frankly would come as a surprise, as they've barely crossed paths in recent years, save for a brief business muck-up and her giving him advice about Connor's issues. At Society, Phyllis is thrilled to be having breakfast with Daniel and Summer, who are just glad she's woke. Daniel needed her to come back to them, especially after Heather. Phyllis complains that Sharon put them through that. She adds that she shouldn't be walking around, she should be in prison. Moving on, Phyllis doesn't know how Michael, her best friend, could take Sharon's case. Daniel and Summer exchange a look. Phyllis promises not to get wound up, and they all focus on what they're grateful for. Christine comes in and says she's heading back on tour and wanted to say goodbye to Daniel. Phyllis asks if she's sure Danny still wants her there. There's a lot of young women around, Maybe he's forgotten about you. Daniel thanks Christine for coming home to help him out. Phyllis touts her instincts. She was the only one who saw the truth all along. Chris will admit, for once, that she was right about something. Summer points out that pushing Sharon almost got her killed. Phyllis flashes to reading her phone and crashing. Daniel asks, "Are you okay?" Phyllis explains that she flashes back to the accident and the headlights coming right at her. Daniel says Alina warned that her memories may come back from that night. Phyllis definitely remembers that truck trying to run her off the road. Christine asks, "The truck? Do you remember what the vehicle looked like? Is this the first time you've seen it in your flashes?" Phyllis holds up her hands. "What's with all the questions, Christine?" Christine was under the impression she had no memories from that night. Phyllis scoffs, "Like a blackout? That's Sharon's game." Summer asks if she remembers seeing Sharon's silver SUV. Michael catches up with Nick at Newman. He asks if the toxicology report came back. Michael says no, but it could be later today. He gripes about him going to Chance, who is sure to show the results to the DA first. Nick says he convinced him to show him first. Michael says, "Yeah, well, that's not going to happen." Michael divulges that he told Chance not to tell Nick. How would it look when it came out? Nick says he's making him regret telling him about this. Michael assures that he convinced Chance that it was crucial to tell him, as Sharon's attorney, about the report. Nick is glad. Michael had to make sure it was done the right way so they can use anything that is found. Nick nods. "Oak, I appreciate that." He's glad Michael's in Sharon's corner. Michael warns testing the pills is a long shot. Nick senses something isn't right. Michael shares that concern. Nick and Michael compare notes on feeling torn because of what Daniel and Phyllis are going through, but they both know something is off. Nick says they have to get Sharon out of this before it's too late. The Young and the Restless spoilers document that Phyllis Summers is convinced that Sharon Newman is heading to jail. However, two completely different aspects of this storyline will stun Phyllis. First, Sharon agrees with her. She believes she's guilty, and unless Nick Newman's toxicology report proves otherwise, she wants to waive her defense and serve time in jail indefinitely. However, there is an important second point. Like Phyllis, Sharon has no idea she's the victim of a carefully orchestrated attempt to frame her. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Sharon Newman didn't target Heather Stevens. Sharon never intended to kill Heather Stevens. So, any legal pursuit that attempts to prove that point will eventually be proven wrong. But Sharon and the audience are a long way from here to there. As fans have recently learned, Ian Ward is out of jail and hiding on the outskirts of Genoa City, Wisconsin. He engineered what would typically be impossible, but happened in this soap world, meaning Jordan Howard's escape from prison. The identity switch Ian exacted was used to set her up as his tool. An intriguing plot point is how long this crafty, equally strong-willed villain agrees to risk her freedom by floating around in disguise. The Young and the Restless spoilers, double villain delight or dual downfall? Ian has always managed to escape justice or pervert the system. The same is proving true for Jordan. However, based on the ages of both characters, one or both could be heading toward a swan song. Wise's returned character, in particular, could plausibly be hurtling toward his mortal end. Zink only debuted this year, which could mean that she has a longer daytime lifespan. But there's no way to predict which, if either, will be sacrificed in the writer's room. Whether the above happens or not, it is feasible to believe that Ian and Jordan will turn on each other or allow the other to be sacrificed. Either scenario would reveal Sharon as the victim of their terrible scheme, which is part of a plan to punish the Newman family, starting with her. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Phyllis Summers won't like the outcome. Phyllis says that she wants Heather's killer and Daniel Rumolotti's framer brought to justice. But Phyllis believes that person, Sharon, is the diabolical fiend. Nick suspects that Sharon's medications were to blame for her actions. He's likely onto something but needs to know the depth of what's about to be uncovered. The storyline could be significantly extended into the next calendar year. That assumes Ian and Jordan's plans go well beyond Sharon as part of an enveloping effort to exact epic revenge. Whenever all is revealed, Phyllis will have to deal with the fact that she was wrong about Sharon. Eating crow won't be on Phyllis' menu choices. So it will be interesting to see if Stafford's character is involved in revealing or catching the actual criminals, which would allow a twist climax. The Young and the Restless spoilers note that as Claire Newman and Kyle Abbott finally have done the deed and solidified their romance during the Tuesday, December 3 episode, this opens a can of worms for an unexpected pregnancy storyline. While Claire's parents, Victoria Newman and Cole Howard, would be concerned that their daughter is moving fast with Kyle, they'd also be supportive and happy for her, as would the rest of the Newmans. My and our spoilers remind fans that no one has any clue that Jordan is in Genoa City, as Ian Ward had an imposter placed in her cell so she could escape. It's hard to gauge how long the show will allow the two villains to wreak havoc in the little town without being detected. But if Claire were to find out she's pregnant and Jordan still hasn't been discovered, she could do a ton of horrifying things. Jordan may feel as if the Newman influence has destroyed Claire, and she could aim to fix things for her grandniece. After all, she may think Claire being pregnant before marriage is scandalous. But what would Jordan do about it? Jordan is a vile and dangerous woman with a terrible view of what's right and what's wrong. Could she devise a plan to ensure Claire miscarries so she doesn't have a baby with Kyle out of wedlock? Maybe slip an unknown drug in Claire's drink when she isn't looking? Then again, she could pull something out of her old bag of tricks and pretend to be a nurse, stealing baby Abbott, much like she did with Victoria, Cole, and Claire. Still, Jordan may kidnap a very pregnant Claire and hold her hostage until she delivers. The opportunities for Jordan to cause chaos with a baby in the mix are endless. Do you think Claire could end up pregnant? Comment below. Catch the CBS soap daily so you don't miss a moment of the drama, and visit this SOS for the best Young and the Restless news, spoilers, and updates in daytime drama. Young and the Restless spoilers indicate that on Tuesday, December 3, Kyle Abbott and Claire Newman solidified their romance by hopping into bed together. Claire isn't as experienced in the love department as Kyle is, and she admitted to her new boyfriend that this was her first time doing the deed. As Kyle lays the charm on thick, sweet Claire is falling head over heels in love. Still, Y and R fans feel as if they've seen this story before, and the ending wasn't so great. With Summer Newman's nose out of joint over Claire's new bond and a love triangle on the horizon, will Claire end up getting hurt? The Young and the Restless spoilers, the Lola Rosales factor. My and our spoilers remind fans that while Summer was technically Kyle's first marriage when the two wed in 2019, it was really just an agreement between them. After all, Kyle had fallen in love with Lola Rosales, and an attack had left her in a coma and in need of a liver transplant to save her life. Summer, of course, was a match for Lola, and the only reason she agreed to be Ms. Rosales' donor was if Kyle married her. Abbott chose to say, "I do," but since there was no love there, the marriage was over shortly after the transplant surgery when Lola woke up from her coma. Kyle and Lola ended up getting hitched later in 2019, but that marriage was short-lived because he realized how much he loved Summer. No couples therapy, no second chances, no nothing. Kyle dumped Lola and resumed a romance with Summer. Their marriage lasted maybe 6 months. Kyle reunited. Lola had some small storylines before she exited the canvas. It's important to note that actress Sasha Calle was cast as Supergirl in the Flash flick, so Lola did leave GC for a bigger reason. My and our spoilers. Could history repeat itself? Summer recently broke up with Chance Chancellor, which is a shame because the two made a great couple. However, Y&R fans can sense that the chemistry has not exactly faded between her and Kyle. Much like Summer's grandparents, Nikki Newman and Victor Newman, she and Kyle are a super couple that may have their ups and downs, but always end up in each other's arms. But will Claire's heart become a casualty in all this? The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of December 9, 2024 are here. Next week, fans can expect Chance Chancellor to get alarming results about Sharon Newman's medication. This information could have Sharon changing her plea. That would also solidify Nick Newman's support of Sharon, which could royally tick Phyllis Summers off. So keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up next week in the CBS soap opera. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Sharon Newman's test results. Y&R spoilers for the week of December 9 reveal that Sharon's medication has been tested. Sharon might not have liked that Nick took her old medication out of the trash to have it tested. However, Nick can't shake the feeling that something isn't right despite Sharon's confession. When Chance reports back the test results, there could be another big twist for Sharon. Y&R spoilers, Jordan and Ian Ward's alliance. Fans know that while Sharon did dump Heather Stevens' body and frame Daniel Rumalotti, Jr., she didn't actually kill the lawyer. Jordan and Ian Ward are responsible as they are for running Phyllis off the road. However, nobody realizes this yet. The test results could indicate that Sharon's medication was tampered with. Sharon might have been taking an entirely different med than the one prescribed. In any case, Jordan and Ian will want to make another move soon. Will they end up making a mistake and getting busted? The Young and the Restless spoilers, Chance Chancellor's moral decision. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of December 9 reveal that the test results could put Chance in a tough spot. The test results could have Chance realizing that someone might have tampered with Sharon's medication on purpose. Even though Chance is the lead investigator and arresting officer, his career could be jeopardized by this moonlighting on Sharon's behalf. Plus, if Chance suddenly sides with Sharon, that could infuriate Phyllis as well as make his break from Summer Newman permanent. Also, expect Jack Abbott to get backlash over his feud with Victor Newman. Nikki Newman interrogates Jack over his motives. Over with Kyle Abbott, he will get mixed signals from Summer. Just how badly will Claire Grace Newman get hurt? Could Jordan turn up just in time for Claire's heartbreak and take advantage of the opportunity? Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of December 9, 2024? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. The Young and the Restless has been exploring the aftermath of Phyllis Summers' accident in the storyline, an after effect of the murder of Heather Stevens. Spoilers for the soap indicate that the character might be looking for some legal representation to take a stand for her in court, and help might be on its way. Spoilers for the soap reveal that Christine Blair will be the one to come to Phyllis' side. She already agreed to represent Daniel when the suspicion for Heather's murder was on him. Likely Daniel and Summer will now convince Christine to step in for Phyllis too. This might be a surprising partnership given the long-standing rivalry that the two share. Both of them have had Danny Romalotti as an ex-partner in the past, sharing many fights over him. However, Phyllis and Christine may manage to come to a brief truce and be professional with each other for the duration of the case. Phyllis Summers has been in the process of suspecting Sharon Newman for Heather Stevens' murder for weeks on The Young and the Restless. Ever since Heather's funeral, Phyllis has been cornering Sharon with pointed questions and emotional outbursts, hoping that her rival might confess to Heather's murder and bring Phyllis' son Daniel off the hook. Phyllis received a text message from Sharon, asking her to meet in private since she wanted to confess. As Phyllis left in her car, she kept getting incessant text messages. At one point, when Phyllis took her eyes off the road, a vehicle crashed into her from the front, resulting in an accident near the Newman Ranch. Nick Newman was one of the first people to arrive at the scene and rushed Phyllis to the hospital. Later, Sharon called Nick and confessed to him that there was a chance she was responsible for the accident and for Heather's murder too. Though it was later revealed to the audience that the longtime villains Ian Ward and Jordan Howard were responsible, none of the characters in the storyline know of this development yet. Since then, Phyllis has recovered a little from her accident, after being in a coma for a while. She has taken up the mantle of bringing Heather justice by ensuring that Sharon gets the sentence she deserves. However, Phyllis' pursuits have been impeded by the fact that Nick is on Sharon's side, insisting that her medication for bipolar disorder made her act abnormally. Additionally, Phyllis' close friend Michael Baldwin is now representing Sharon in court, making Phyllis more upset. It seems that Christine's involvement in the upcoming episode might lead to more tension between Phyllis and Michael too. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that as 2024 comes to a close, viewers will start looking forward to all the soapy twists and turns in the new year. Some great stuff is on the way, so let's talk about 3 exciting storylines that'll shock fans in 2025. Jordan and Ian's exposure brings a wild climax. Of course, Jordan and Ian Ward's sneaky partnership will be exposed along with all the awful things they've been up to since they returned to Genoa City. Ian and Jordan are the reason Heather Stevens is deceased and why Sharon Newman was driven to her mental breaking point. Jordan is also the driver who ran Phyllis Summers off the road, so all that will come to light sooner or later. Ian and Jordan will stir up trouble for additional victims, especially Mariah Copeland and Claire Newman, so there's much more drama to come. However, Jordan and Ian aren't going to get away with their actions, so they inevitably have a downfall brewing in 2025. There's sure to be a wild climax that'll keep fans glued to their screens. Lily's new love story. As for Lily Winters, she has a new love story headed her way. Lily has been single for a while now, but she's going to fall for someone special, and it could be the real deal this time around. Our predictions point to Lily striking up a romance with Nate Hastings' half-brother Damien once he makes his I and R debut. Lily isn't related to Damien, so the door will be wide open for her to fall hard. Naturally, Nate may show off his protective side and worry that Lily's going to get her heart broken, especially since there's been a lot of talk from Amy Lewis about how troubled Damien is. Billy's love triangle outcome. As for Billy Abbott, he's gearing up for a love triangle with Sally Spectra and Phyllis Summers. Billy only has one heart to offer, so does his future lie with Sally or Phyllis? Sally seems like the better option at this point, but it's also possible Billy will self-sabotage and lose her along with Phyllis in the end. Billy doesn't like being viewed as the perpetual screw-up, but let's face it, that's exactly what he is. In other words, Billy's love triangle outcome could be blowing things with both women if he's not careful. It all depends on what I and R writers have in mind for Billy as he enters 2025. The Young and the Restless spoilers say some story curveballs are in the works, so we'll bring you updates as more news comes in. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Jordan and Ian Ward could make the most of a golden opportunity. Lucy Romalotti is grieving the loss of Heather Stevens and dealing with a lot of anger, so her fury could be used to Ian and Jordan's advantage. Jordan certainly knows how to manipulate a young woman and drive her down a vengeful path. I and our fans have seen proof of that, since that's exactly what Jordan did to Claire Newman when she drove her to extremes against the Newmans. As Jordan spies around town, she could realize Lucy is in a vulnerable place right now. When you pair Lucy's fragile state of mind with all her rage, she's pretty much the perfect person to groom for a payback plot. It's easy to imagine Jordan pretending to be lost in the park, or even just joining Lucy on a bench to say she looks glum. Jordan might strike up a friendship with Lucy and encourage her to get things off her chest. It wouldn't take long for Lucy to start ranting about Sharon Newman taking her mom away from her. Lucy might also vent about Faith Newman refusing to accept that Sharon is a monster. Perhaps Jordan could fuel Lucy's reign of terror and convince her that she has to make Sharon pay. Jordan might argue that Faith deserves to feel the same pain Lucy's in, and push Lucy to wipe Sharon off the map herself. Maybe Jordan could also supply Lucy with alcohol and use that to further impair her judgment. Jordan could set up a few friendly encounters with Lucy and work to drive her down a dangerous road. Ian would likely love the idea of Lucy going after vigilant justice and making Sharon pay the ultimate price. It would create a lot of suffering for Sharon and her family, so Ian would probably be all for it. Of course, Lucy wouldn't actually succeed in eliminating Sharon, but she might injure her or even Faith if she gets in the way. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott remain madly in love, but it certainly didn't look that way during their marriage destruction ruse. In an effort to get Kyle Abbott away from Victor Newman, Diane and Jack carried out a charade that had many GC residents believing they hated each other. Of course, Diane and Jack never wavered in their commitment to their future together, but that could change as a result of this scheme. Doubts could surface based on some of the harsh statements that were made during that whole plot. In an interview with Sod, Peter Bergman talked about how far Jack had to take his deception and hinted that trouble could still be brewing. It put a big question mark in Diane's mind. Jack said some things that, wow, he just went a big step too far in letting the world know that he has big questions about Diane. And I think there's a price to pay for that, Bergman said. In fact, Peter Bergman is now wondering if Jack's insults and hurtful declarations could become part of an upcoming Y&R storyline. Although Bergman made a prediction that it might happen, he admitted that he asked the writers and TPTB not to tell him. Bergman wants to go along for the ride and see how it all plays out for Jack and Diane as they try to move forward. That said, Bergman does think it's an interesting little twist to have that ruse create deeper wounds than planned and require a fix-it. Although Jack has repeatedly assured Diane of his love and belief in her, that doesn't mean the road ahead will be a smooth one. Diane still has a lot of guilt and insecurities when it comes to her past mistakes, so she may be more haunted than Jack anticipated. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Jack and Diane's marriage may have more hurdles ahead, so we'll bring you updates on any stunning news and looming setbacks. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.